The Devil May Cry 5 collab brings Dante and Vergil to Punishing Gray Raven August 6, 2025. Through every fiber of this collab, every painstakingly recreated combo, it's evident that this isn't some profit-driven obligation for the PGR devs. It's a dream come true, 5 years in the making. The twins are so much more than trophy characters who will sit in your roster collecting dust. But what do they do best, and what is the best way to obtain them? How can you obtain Dante for free? You'll be able to answer all of those questions by the end of this video. The long wait for the real peak of combat is finally over.
Let's put up the sign here. Devil May Cry. Alright.
Ever since Alpha showed off this move back at launch, PGR has been rife with DMC jokes and references between the players and devs alike.
Now I'm motivated.
But no one expected an official collab until it was announced about a year ago. Not only have Dante and Vergil's complex movesets been faithfully captured in PGR, they even managed to get the original voice actors back to play their roles, unlike a certain Netflix series.
Hello everybody, it's Dan Southworth here, the voice behind Vergil in Devil May Cry 5.
Hey there, this is Ruben Langdon, the voice actor of Dante.
And first off, huge congratulations on the launch of the collaboration between Punishing Gray Raven and Devil May Cry 5.
This collab is an absolute treat to DMC fans, allowing us to imagine moments that may have happened after the end of DMC5. Despite these twins looking quite a bit different from these twins, they are right at home with PGR's fast-paced action combat that depends on timing, skill, and power. Let's first take a closer look at Dante, an S-rank fire attacker with the ignition effect. S-rank means he's the highest class of playable character, just like a 5-star in other gacha games. Attacker means his main role is dealing damage, which suits him very well, and fire is just that. He deals fire elemental damage. However, the ignition effect is where Dante's true power lies. See, in PGR, it wasn't enough to just have physical and elemental type damage. It also has an entire new category of effect damage. Just like elemental powers, different characters can specialize in different kinds of effects, and some enemies have special weaknesses to effects. For all intents and purposes though, you can just think of effects as additional elements that tend to be more endgame focused. Dante's effect is called Ignition, which allows you to build up stacks on enemies and then combust them all at once to deal devastating ignition damage over time. He does way more damage in this ignition mode than in his fire elemental mode. If you aren't interested in maximizing effect damage, his regular fire elemental attacks aren't half bad. As a fire attacker, he's a bit stronger than Lee Hyperreal, but nowhere near as good as Lucia Pyroth at equal investment. However, big DMC fans will be happy to hear that max investment Dante can technically outperform double S3 Lucia Pyroth, though this level of investment is kinda nuts and we don't recommend it. Either way, Dante has two potential teams. If you're interested in just using him for basic fire elemental damage, you'll want to pair him with the tank Watanabe Epitaph and the amplifier Vera Garivor. However, to really make the most of Dante, you should build a full ignition team by pairing him with the tank Nanami Startrail and Vera Garivor. Again, Vera is not actually an ignition effect character, but she does buff fire damage, which indirectly helps ignition be more effective. One day she might be replaced on this team, but she's the best pick for now. If you're a new player and haven't used your guaranteed S-rank target on the beginner banner, I recommend using it to pick Vera Garivor with blue basic construct R&D tickets. This way you can get her for free, but if you're new, I recommend checking out this video where we explain how best to take advantage of the system. However, you'll need to be patient. You won't be able to target Garivor on this banner until the next patch. Nanami Startrail can also be targeted through this banner system, but I recommend getting her a different way. She's permanently available through an S-rank selector that can be found in the Thunderbolt manual. There is a catch though, as it will cost you currency that could be used to pull new characters, black cards, and yellow event construct R&D tickets. If you're flush with yellow tickets and love Dante, this is a good way to get him his best in slot tank. But if you're a new, returning, or free-to-play player, you should probably save your currency for a future character instead. Okay, enough about teams. Let's talk about Dante's weapon, Devil Sword Dante. By default, Dante will come with a 5-star version of his sword totally free, and it looks exactly like the 6-star version. However, that's where the similarities end. While it's not mandatory to his gameplay, the 6-star version of his weapon is a huge upgrade to both his rotation and attack power. Along with the straight-up damage boost, it gives him increased signal orb generation. This, in turn, makes his rotation smoother and allows him to spend more time on the field doing high damage. If you're planning on investing any BC into Dante, grab this weapon first. Then there's the other piece of equipment he has, his CUB. CUB stands for Combat Unit Booster, but really, it's just a mechanical pet. CUBs have a couple moves of their own, but most importantly, this one increases the damage of Dante's signature moves. It also gives him access to some alternate attacks, which, while not the most powerful, are fun for style points. And let's be real, if you love DMC5, you definitely want the bike. Okay, that's enough fun. It's time to get serious and talk about Dante's cold and humorless brother, Vergil. Vergil is an S-rank attacker just like Dante, but he deals physical type damage and has an effect called Ultima Slash. Yes, Ultima Slash, an edgy name for our favorite edgelord. Like Dante, Vergil is primarily an effect damage dealer, so much so that he actually starts in Ultima Slash mode by default. But if you want him to do physical damage instead, just switch him with Beowulf. He's not as good at dealing physical damage as, say, Selena Pianissimo, but if you don't have her, he's second best, about on par with Bianca Stigmata. Whether you prefer to use him for physical or effect damage, he conveniently uses the same team for both. Hanging Solace Toon is his tank and also has the Ultima Slash effect. Alyssa Echo is his amplifier, and even though she doesn't have Ultima Slash, she buffs his physical damage. As of right now, there's no amplifier with Ultima Slash, though that may change in the future. Alyssa Echo can be obtained completely free through the Play and Wait Dorm Commission side quests, and if you're a Vergil fan, you'll want to get started on those right away. But best of all, you can get this adorable swimsuit for Alyssa totally free during the DMC5 patch, so even if you don't have Alyssa yet, definitely grab her summer coating so you can give it to her later. Hanyang Solace Toon is very important to Vergil's kit as she enables his effect damage, building it quickly so Vergil can melt enemies. But unfortunately, she's a bit harder to obtain. You could get her off the beginner banner, but remember, you can only get one guaranteed target, so you'll have to decide between her and Vera Garivor for Dante. Or you could get Hanyang from the same S-rank selector that has Nanami Star Trail, but once again, you can only choose one character here. Beyond that, your next best bet would be waiting for one of the 100% rate-up Wishing Banners that typically run about once a year. Wishing Banners rerun every old S-rank, but they cost the same as a regular character, so you'll have to save up. Fortunately, all S-ranks will rerun eventually, so if you're patient, you can build a full team for both DMC5 boys. Vergil and Dante, on the other hand, are only available for a limited time, so definitely prioritize the twins before building their teams. And that brings us to Vergil's limited weapon. Just like Dante, Vergil comes with a free 5-star version of his trademark sword. But if you're getting Vergil, we recommend going the extra mile and getting the 6-star version of Yamato too. 6-star Yamato gives him a big damage boost, as well as a much smoother rotation thanks to increased gauge generation, and a bonus Matrix when he switches forms. If you're new here, Matrix slows down time for the enemies and makes all signal orbs behave like they're 3 pings. It's extremely handy for controlling the flow of battle and strategizing your attacks, as well as just dealing more damage. Once you have Vergil, getting his signature weapon should be your second priority, followed by getting his CUB. Vergil's CUB, Mirage Blades, buffs multiple parts of his gameplay kit, helping him do much more damage, and just like Dante, it gives him some alternate moves that are fun for showing off. Alright, that's enough about what they do. Let's talk about the best way to obtain Dante and Vergil and how much it will cost. Fortunately, it won't cost you very much. PGR's collabs have been discounted as a gesture of goodwill by the devs, much to the delight of newbies and veterans alike. The catch is that they are only available during the collab patch. If you miss your chance to get the boys, their weapons, or their cubs, you miss out forever. But that won't happen to you because you're watching this video. Unless you're watching this from way in the future, in which case, I'm sorry. First, get your free, yes, free Dante just by playing the limited story mode he's featured in. If you're new to the game, you'll need to complete the tutorial and first few main story missions to unlock Dante's story, but it won't take long. However, if you want Vergil, you'll have to grapple with the dreaded gacha mechanics. But don't worry, any player can get Vergil without spending real cash. Here's how it works. Vergil and duplicates of Dante are available through a gambling system called a banner. In this case, a collab banner. You'll need to spend in-game currency called collab tickets for every attempt to get him. Each attempt, called a pull, or research in this game, will cost 175 collab tickets each, which is a discount from the usual 250 tickets each. But where does one get these tickets? Well, you convert them from another in-game currency, black cards, or BC. BC is the universal currency of PGR. You earn it for free from doing story missions, daily quests, weekly challenges, and loads of other game modes. And you can also buy it with real money, of course. BC is valuable because you can convert it one-to-one into any kind of banner ticket, including the collab ones. However, once you convert it, you can't convert it back. That means BC and collab tickets are the only thing you can use to get DMC5 stuff. These other tickets will not be accepted. Fortunately, PGR is pretty generous with handing out BC, so if you keep up with your dailies, weeklies, and event challenges, you should be able to easily afford Vergil before this collab ends. When you pull on Vergil's banner, the game will conveniently prompt you to convert the proper amount of black cards into collab tickets. Don't hold your breath though. The chance of getting a character early is extremely low, like less than 2% low. Each failed pull will give you some materials you can use to power them up later. Fortunately, the disappointment will end, as you are 100% guaranteed to get your boy by 60 pulls, for a max cost of 10,500 tickets total. But that's not all. For the first 2 copies you pull, you'll get a bonus copy of the character too. So, pull 1 Vergil, get 1 free Vergil. Pull another Vergil, get another free Vergil. But after that, no more free Vergils. This also goes for Dante. Pull 2, get 2 free. But after that, no more free Dantes. This bonus is only for the DMC5 characters though, so enjoy it while it lasts. Duplicates will make your boys even stronger, but before you start wailing for dupes, we recommend prioritizing their weapons and cubs next. The DMC5 weapons have their own banner and are not discounted. Each pull is 250 tickets with a pity of 30 pulls for a full cost of 7,500 tickets. However, it's not guaranteed, as there is only an 80% chance of getting the weapon you're targeting. If you're unlucky, you could end up with a different 6-star weapon and will have to pull up to 30 times again. Fortunately, if you fail the 80-20 chance, you're guaranteed to get the weapon you want within 30 additional pulls. But listen, and this is important, no one needs to get duplicates of Dante and Vergil's weapons. In PGR, you can power up weapons by feeding them any other 6-star weapon. It does not have to be the same type. Not to mention, you can use a 6-star weapon resonance material instead if you happen to have one. So grab just one of Dante and Vergil's weapons for now, and if you want to power them up, you'll be able to do so later. The DMC5 Cubs also have their own banner and are 100% guaranteed within 20 pulls, or 5,000 BC each. The CUB banner has pretty decent rates, so we recommend single pulling on those in case you get the CUB early and end up with an excess of CUB collab tickets. All collab tickets will be converted into usable tickets after the patch, mind you. So with all that said and done, Ivy has conveniently put together this chart to help you visualize how much BC is needed for each tier of investment. If you're new to PGR and free to play, you'll probably stop somewhere around here. If you've been saving for this patch, you may invest to about this point, grabbing their weapons and cubs while you still have an opportunity to. Hopefully you're lucky with the weapon pulls. But if you're a spender, you'll want to look at the rest of the chart. Duplicate characters will increase their rank, and each rank will make them stronger. Though this strength does have diminishing returns for the cost, so plan accordingly. You can see all the details of what they get at each rank on greyravens.com. Spenders will need to visit the top-up shop, and you can learn more about what deals are the best in our other video I've linked in the corner here. The best deal is actually Monthly Pass A, which costs about $5 and gives you BC every day. The other packs provide various amounts of tickets, except for these patch that gives you 30 shards for about $50 each. 30 shards is the equivalent of pulling a duplicate character, but $50 is also a lot of money. However, keep in mind that the DMC boys will not have shards available for free in the Phantom Pancake shop like other PGR characters, so the only way to rank them up will be pulling dupes or buying these shards. If you run out of BC for the banners, the top-up shop packs provide better value than buying BC directly. But for the whales out there, you'll be pleased to see that thanks to the discounted pulls and bonus duplicates, Dante and Vergil are actually a far better deal than regular S ranks in PGR. But enough about the numbers, what's the bottom line? Should you actually pull Dante and Vergil at all? Well, Dante and Vergil are in a weird place in the meta. Upon release, they are not the best of their element, making them a pure downgrade compared to Lucia Pyroth and Selena Pianissimo at equal investment. However, they are still meta in one aspect: their effect damage. Problem is, there aren't many stages where effect damage is important. As of right now, effects only make a difference in some high-level Warzone stages and some Ultimate Phantom Pancake bosses, and even then, non-competitive players can still beat these stages without using effects. So if you're a competitive player who loves being at the top of the leaderboard, Dante and Vergil are a must-have. But if you're anyone else, they're simply a fun couple of characters to have fun wreaking havoc with. I should be clear, this doesn't mean Dante and Vergil are weak. Far from it. They are generally strong characters with a niche specialty. So with all that said, everyone should get their free Dante, but only pull Vergil and invest in the twins if you like to keep up with the meta. Dante and Vergil complete their respective effect teams, meaning they'll help you smash through weekly effect challenges. You're missing fire and physical teams. While these boys aren't as good as Pyroth and Pianissimo, they are comparable to the second best choices, Hyperreal and Stigmata, while being much more affordable. You don't want to miss out! All other characters will be rerun eventually, but after this collab, Dante and Vergil will be gone for good. If FOMO kills you, grab them while you can. And most importantly, get the twins and their gear if you love DMC5. This collab was made for you, so don't worry about tier lists and leaderboards, just grab them. On the other hand, collabs aren't for everyone. You should not invest in Dante and Vergil if you don't really care about the effect meta. And that's fair because there's not much effect content. You already have Pyroth and or Pianissimo who are better for fire and physical teams. You're saving for future characters such as Bianca, Veronica, Discord, and so on. You absolutely need Selena Pianissimo's gacha skin, and who could blame you? And finally, don't pull if you don't really care about DMC5, and that's okay. If you don't, this is a great saving patch. And remember, video games are there to have fun. Dante and Vergil play very differently compared to other PGR characters, so try them out and see if you have a good time before making any decisions. But what comes after the DMC5 patch? This particular upcoming character can be obtained by anyone for free, so watch this video to learn more about Discord. The character, not the app.